This is the last episode of Monsterhearts Return to Mercy Falls. We hope you have enjoyed listening to this series as much as we have enjoyed putting it together. I'd like to say thanks to the players in this series, Yoshi, Philip, Kevin, and Lowell, and a special thanks to Fraser Simons for editing these together. If you can't get enough of Mercy Falls, please check out our Gauntlet YouTube channel. The video for the third series is already available there, so you can find out what happens to these kids right away. There are also videos for 2 spin-off series, another Monsterhearts game called Mercy Falls 83, and several sessions called The History of Mercy Falls, which are played with Cthulhu Dark. If you dig these videos, please know that you, yes, you, can play with us. The audio from these sessions is lifted straight from games we schedule on Gauntlet Hangouts, and anyone can join those games if there's space. We'll include links to Gauntlet Hangouts in the show notes. Finally, if you love what we do, please support us on Patreon at patreon.com/gauntlet. Enjoy.
The two of you staring each other down a dark street in Mercy Falls. What do you do?
So Margot's advancing very belligerently, pointing down at Chad, and it's like, we have some business, Serena. Step up.
And I think I step, like I put my hand on Chad's shoulder and like step around him. Like maybe I give him a quick glance at, since I already exposed my fangs, like I just like smile at him, give him like that leer of this is not your fight type thing right now. And then like I turn and like that's all I do. So like whether he like listens to me or backs off, I don't know yet. But like then I turn to Margot and I look at her, and that's where my attention is.
Yeah, he'll back off. Ben will like poke his head out the Camaro and say, "Hey, Margot." Put his head back in.
You see Margot take a stumbling step before remembering she's totally pissed off. Hey, Ben.
So I'm looking at Margot and I'm like, look, I've heard what Chad has to say, and I know why you would want to seek revenge, but you're still here. You're right in front of me. And like, I like look at your head because like, that's where you got shot. And then I point to like the scar where I got shot from Mr. Thompson. I'm like, I know what it's like. I don't know how you survived or what really happened, but you're here now. And I don't think Chad is really the person that you want to seek revenge on, the person that you need to lash out against.
Oh, it's bigger than just Chad, but that's where I'm starting.
But why would you? And I like look at, like I maybe glance over my shoulder at Chad. I'm like, why would you deal with an insignificant person like that when you can use him as a tool instead of taking him out of play?
He's a total veneer. Nothing underneath what you see there is worthwhile.
Maybe, but he's something that can be useful.
Chad's like, I'm still here. I just want to throw that out there.
He's good and bad. I'll give you that, Serena. If you want to go ride that horse, well, I don't think he'll be around, but I don't work like you. I'm not about using and manipulating people. I'm about making things happen and get done. And this is going to get done. Now step away.
Margot, why won't you let me help you get what you actually want? Because it's not Chad. It's not Chad being hurt or killed or anything. You may think you want that, but that's not really what's important to you.
Chad says, again from the background, I'm really freaking out. I don't know what's going on with Margot. I thought she was dead, but I just want you guys to know this is really turning me on right now. I'm so into this.
Yeah. And I think I totally will spend a string because I do have a string on Margot. So as like we're getting closer to each other, like because we're probably both slowly walking towards each other as this whole conversation is going on. I think I just stop like just like where that personal bubble like area would be, and I reach out my hand slowly, like just like raise it up to like put on your shoulder, and I look at you. I'm like, look, Chad is an asshole who doesn't know any better than what he needs to do, but he's an asshole we can use, and I think if you just let me help you, and this is where I'm spending the string of like, tell me what it is that you need, that you actually want. And then I like look at the car and like head nod toward it, like, then all of us, we're stronger together. We can go deal with that and take care of it now.
I want to expose all the lies of this city. Everyone here is fake. Nothing's sincere. Nothing's real. Everyone pretends to care about each other. They live their little lives. No one actually gives a shit about anything. This city's a blight.
I think when you say that, like, I think I walk up beside you to like start walking towards the car together. I'm like, maybe, but let's work together on that. Maybe you could use a granola bar to calm yourself down.
Where the fuck is Ben? Didn't I just see him? Oh.
He brought a Ziploc bag full of them for the road, just in case it came to that.
You see Margot kind of roll her shoulders. You feel them, how muscled they are, underneath your hand. When she rolls them, and she kind of cracks her neck, and she's big sigh. It's like, okay, it's not my style, but I'll delay some gratification for a bit here.
So Chad's like, so are we going to have a three-way or what? Like, what's going on here?
I think both of us just like glare at him when he says that.
You wish, Badwick.
I think we'd get to the car. And so like, who is actually your next target? Like who we should go after? That's not Chad. Is it Bellefontaine or is it Big Man? It's not Big Man. It would be like Bellefontaine, maybe.
I'm kind of on team Big Man right now.
Bellefontaine's an outsider. Like he doesn't really.
But there's these pond freaks that.
Okay, so we're gonna go after Gauntlet. Perfect. Yep. This is awesome. Yeah. All right, cool.
Yep.
Let's cut back to the car ride. Ellen, I think you're like crammed in the back seat with Rhodey and Tony right in the middle, and Jonah's in the front seat. And Thomas is like, Thomas is driving, and he's like, "You guys fucking reek of the woods. You're gonna stink up my car. Like this is some bullshit." He looks in the rear view mirror, makes eye contact with you, Ellen, and he's like, "Nice haircut." And smiles.
All that's going on in my head is this phrase that Jonah used, that Ellen doesn't belong here, doesn't belong with this group, doesn't belong. And so there are a bunch of people that need to be not here anymore to make me awesome. And he's on that list up there right now. And so I'm just sitting there smoldering.
Jonah, what are you doing during the car ride?
I'm actually looking up like werewolf weaknesses on the internet. And I'm just like scrolling, and I come to like this bit about Wolfsbane. And I say, do you know anything about this? Can we get some of this?
I assume this is like at a stoplight or something. And he's
no.
He's like, "What the fuck? What are you shoving in my face, dude? Like, what is this?" Like you're holding your phone up to him or whatever.
Right.
I'm trying to drive. Hello.
Wolfsbane. You know about like stuff like this, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, I know about stuff like this because I'm a fucking horticulturalist. What are you talking about? Like, it's like, come on, dude.
I think I'm going to use I'm gonna bargain with him, and I'm just like, what will it take for you to drop the act and just tell me where I can get this?
Are you invoking your power here? The dark power move.
Yeah.
Let's see, which is you can ask the dark power for something. I'll attach a price and hint at the undesired twist in its nature. If you pay the price, okay, good. He says, all right. Look, I guess I don't have any reason to be coy here. We all kind of know what's going on, right? Says it like in the car. Everyone's like, kind of understands what's happening here. Yeah. Even you, right, Ellen?
Oh, yeah. I understand everything.
Good. So we're all on the same fucking page. Awesome. So you want some, what is this? What the fuck, Jonah?
It's called Wolfsbane, and I again hold like the phone up to his face.
Wolfsbane, right. Let's see. I'm sure we can probably get some. I'm not too worried about that, but do you really want to go up against her? I mean, come on. Do you really think a handful of like leaves and herbs and is gonna stop a massive rampaging beast from ripping your fucking throat out?
And that's when I'm going to reach my hand over to his thigh and lean over and tell him, "You chose me because you thought I was strong, didn't you?"
Sure.
And I don't know if I'm turning him on.
I'm just gonna keep rolling with the what he wants
Okay.
from you kind of thing.
Okay.
With a
Yeah,
twist.
good.
Yeah. That's right. I definitely need you right now. Let's just say there's going to come a time when I'm going to ask you to suit up, as it were, for danger. Are you cool with that?
So long as you give me what I need to deal with it, then that's fine. I mean, you're the one with all the cards.
All right. Let's go ahead and we'll drop off Wednesday Addams here, and then we'll figure out what we need to do after that.
And I'm gonna actually like turn back to Ellen. I'm just gonna be like, "Are you gonna be okay? Do you need anything?" And I'm totally just like treating it like a baby.
I'll be fine.
Are you sure? Do you want us to call someone?
No.
And I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll see you at school tomorrow."
He stops the car, and Tony gets out to let you out, Ellen. And Thomas turns to you. He says, "Hey, I hope you'll think about me tonight as you fall asleep."
Go inside. Not look in the living room because I don't want to see if my parents are here and they're still with masks on. I just go upstairs and I get my other like backup phone, like the cheap one. Like look around and very carefully text Margot. Jonah's looking for Wolfsbane. Send.
Nice. Good. Pulls the car away with just the three of you, Jonah. He looks at you and he says, "I totally fucked her."
Oh, gross.
He's like, "No, man, it was really interesting. It was really intense, like, I mean, I've slept with, gosh, thousands and thousands of beings, but none quite like her. It's the truth."
Really? Because she seems like the most boring person in the entire school.
She didn't have much to say, it's true. If I'm being perfectly honest, I can't tell. I couldn't really see her face to see if she was enjoying it. But she's...
And I think I turned back laughing to the other guys, and I'm like, bag over the head.
Something like that. I'll just tell you this. She's a really special girl. But, I'd never tell her that.
Yeah, well, sometimes she seems like she needs to be told that she's special.
Whatever. And he drives off.
Maybe after like driving around, if we never find Jonah for that night, and everybody like disperses, I think I want to have, it could just be like a little montage, but like where I probably with Chad, because he seems the one who's like the least like part of the gang type thing. But like maybe like with him getting dropped off at his place or something, and like feeding on him and just trying to like really actually make him like part of like that gang type thing.
Yeah. Have you ever fed on Chad before?
No. So
you can go ahead and take the benefits of the feeding move if you want.
Cool.
Good XP.
Just so you know, that XP will get me an advancement. So I think since narratively we put it like, I think the advancement is going to be that vampire coterie type thing.
Your nest or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And then for choosing two,
you heal if you need to. It sounds like you're going to take +1 forward, and
yeah, I think I'm just going to take +1 forward, and he doesn't die.
All right, cool. What does Chad taste like?
Oh, what does he taste like? He because he's like athletic, like I think he tastes like more like there's more iron in his blood. So like
Oh,
there's a
interesting.
slight
Okay.
like a slight like metallic like tinge to whatever it is. That or at least that's what it tastes like is. And so yeah, like a protein shake, like it's got that weird like supposedly healthy vibe, but doesn't necessarily taste as good
Right. Yeah.
like feeling to it.
The equivalent of like chalky
Yeah,
taste,
exactly.
right? Like
Perfect. Yeah.
the blood equivalent of that. Okay. I'm into it. Cool. I think like after you're done feeding on him, he's like, that was fucking intense. It's like, he's like, you wanna go to my room and like, nurse me back to health or whatever.
I just like I don't like verbally say anything, but like I maybe like brush his hair out of like over his eyes or something, and just like I lean forward and like kiss him on the forehead, and I'm like, no, you'll be fine without me, and then like I just leave him and like walk out the door.
Nice, good. Marco, what about you?
Well, one quick question here with Serena feeding on Chad. So because I slept with Chad, I have that connection to him. Now, that's only supposed to go away when he has sex with someone else. I'm not sure if this feeding borders into that where I feel like kind of that there was a more primal physical connection is either attenuated or completely broken. I have no idea.
I think in
who
the
it would
fiction
be.
it makes sense that it would be broken.
Yeah.
Like even if it's not like per se sex, it seems like it would be an emotional, physical
Right, it's
experience of an equivalent nature.
intimacy,
right?
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
There's an intimacy to it. Yeah, for sure.
So that's another person who stepped away or been lost.
Yeah.
To
No,
Margot.
and it makes sense in terms of like where Margot's at right now, right? Because I'm imagining Margot feeling like particularly detached and disaffected. Well, you have no strings, right? Like
Correct.
You're particularly like outside the circle now. You're in the same circle that Big Man and Bellefontaine are in right now, right?
Yep.
And that's important.
The one other thing I wanted to say about that is that I think the rules reinforce is my sex move is when you deny someone sexually. And so like even though that's not like us having sex, that is my sex move.
Yeah.
So I think that all works. Yeah. Well, and does that fire off for Chad then too? I mean,
yeah, I think it does. So it means that I gain a string on Chad.
Cool, awesome. Well, so then Margot, anything else you want to do?
All right. So Margot goes home, checks on her mom who's asleep. She's cried herself asleep essentially. And you see her pull the blanket up over her mom and go to her room. She lays down in bed, brings out her smartphone. You see her typing. And then as you look over her shoulder and she's scrolling through tattoo images of tentacles and stuff, like she's looking for something she wants to get.
Nice. I love it. Ellen, what about you?
I think it's probably pretty silent of her going up to her room and going in to the shower, and she's been holding herself pretty well together.
Yeah.
But I think as she's sort of cleaning herself off from the muddy handprints and all of that, that's the point at which she kind of breaks down into that crying fit. She cries and cries and cries, but there are no tears. None of that comes out. There's probably a pull away of that from the face. She can't make tears anymore.
I love it. It's good. Would that possibly invoke your trauma move, do you think?
Yeah, I assume at the end she's going to end up with the whole situation would definitely give her traumatized on there.
Yeah, I'm into that. Yeah, I think you should take it. Yeah, I think that's good. Awesome. And then what about you, Jonah?
Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, anything you want to do before the night's over? Before we go to the
I think after he gets dropped off with the guys back at his place by Thomas, the guys go inside and we just see Jonah like walking around the back of the house, and you see all these blue flowers have sprung up between all the trees.
Nice.
And it's like suddenly the forest is infested with wolfsbane.
Okay, nice. Love it. I just want to cut straight to homeroom. What a day, huh? You're all back. You're in class improbably, but that is the case. None of your parents are going to let you miss school today. And in fact, the school has actually you get the impression that the school has actually like reached out to like the community and said like, you know, it's been a lot of hard days recently. We need all the kids at the school. They're instituting some kind of new like grief counseling program of some sort. As you all file into the homeroom, you see Vice Principal Forsyth is there. She's been kind of managing homeroom until we get a new teacher. And she has someone with her, a nun, older woman dressed in like a sort of like, you know, kind of like working nun outfit, like kind of powder blue, you know, skirt and, you know, and habit, a little cozy sweater vest thing, you know. You know, they all say good morning to you as you all come in and file in and sit down. What is everyone thinking as you go in and you see this? You see Vice Principal Forsyth and this nun.
You see Margot just, again, that like lock up look.
Instant recognition. You totally recognize her as the nun from your vision.
I lean over to Serena, who's maybe just right next to me coming into the room. I'm like, I've seen her like in a vision.
In your vision, I'll point out in the vision, she was in like full black nun's habit, right? Like very like ceremonial looking, right?
Yep.
This
she
is
was
more
in
like simple.
She was in ninja nun mode,
Exactly,
essentially. Right. And she had a big stake and said she had stuff to take care of.
That's no good. We'll have to keep an eye on her.
Yeah, she implied she was coming for me too, but I think she's coming for you first. Watch your back.
Okay.
What about you, Jonah and Ellen? How are you guys feeling about these?
I mean, I'm probably reacting like all the other students, just like, oh God, a nun, really?
Indeed. Ellen?
I don't care about that. I'm on concentrating on what I'm going to do and that I can get my seat right next to Margot.
I think as Thomas walks in, he makes eye contact with you, Ellen, and he kind of like does a really like vulgar thing with his mouth, like something like that, you know, a little tongue, a little air kiss as he like a wink as he sits down.
I looked to see if Jonah saw it. He didn't. I'm irritated.
Indeed. Yeah, Jonah was too busy. Like, what were you doing, Jonah?
I think what I do is I have a little twig of a little sprig of wolfsbane, and I'm like twirling it in my fingers. And then I think like we have those desks that have like the inside storage that you lift up and I turn to Margot and I'm like motioning towards her desk and I'm like tapping, like lifting the lid of mine, like, and I'm nodding towards her desk.
Nice. Miss Forsyth says, all right, students, go ahead and calm down, have a seat. As you know, a lot of really terrible things have been happening in town, and your parents and the school superintendent and everyone who works in the district is very, very concerned about your mental health. We don't want these things to affect you for the rest of your lives, and so we have gotten in touch with Sister Mary Edward Price, and she kind of like motions over to her. She is a world-renowned grief counselor, trauma expert, and she's going to be here in school for the time being, meeting with you and helping you work through what you might be feeling right now. And she turns it over to Sister Mary Edward, who steps up and says, hello, children. Don't be intimidated because I wear the habit. I take my work very seriously, and I'm not here to judge. I've worked in some of the most war-torn countries in the world. I've worked in Darfur. I've worked in Yemen, in Afghanistan. I have helped some of the most traumatized children in the world face their grief, process the terrible, terrible things they've had to experience, and come out the other side stronger than they were before. And when I heard about what was going on in Mercy Falls, I certainly could not deny the request. And so I'm here to help you. I'm here to work with you, each of you. I want you to know that I am your friend, and that together we're going to get through this.
I haven't played Monster Hearts before. This is my very first time. So this is just dynamite.
So role play. Snapchat that shit. That's Serena's like first move always. That's what Lilith would do, right?
We need a photo for Robert, the D&D smoker.
You know what we should look for is we should look for like a hand-drawn like fighter or paladin. And that's the...
Yeah, the cats playing or talking about D&D behind the handball court. That was basically my high school. Like that was like my entire high school experience. That well runs real deep with me. I'm pretty sure I've had that conversation about the Githyanki and the Githzerai. It is a series of unfortunate events, to be sure. Jonah always manages, like, when everyone else is doing like supernatural creepiness, Jonah always manages to make it a real human ass creepiness, like every time.
Yeah, because you did kill Dawn. So.
You did actually kill Dawn.
Yeah, I know.
You are in fact guilty. At least you know what to call them in this fiction. We know they're called vampires, as opposed to zombie movies where they've never heard the word zombie before. In every zombie thing, I want someone to be like, "Oh, you mean like a zombie?" It never happens.
And I think you get Ellen instead.
I love it. So I'm going back to bed after this game. So.
That seems fair.
Hey, listeners. Pocket-Sized Play, including Monsterhearts Return to Mercy Falls, is a production of The Gauntlet. If you love the Mercy Falls saga, consider joining The Gauntlet's Patreon. There are a number of costs associated with producing Pocket-Sized Play, including hosting fees and editing. Your Patreon support allows us to pay for those things, so we can keep this show going. At the $2 pledge level, you get early access to all the Pocket-Sized Play series we produce. At the $4 level, you also get access to our fantastic zine codex. Just go to patreon.com/gauntlet. Thanks.